It's 6:05. We're going to call the meeting to order. First order of business is to call attendance. Please unmute yourself and verbally say here or I when I call your name. Bill Boudry.
Here.
Stacy Constance.
Here.
Sarah Fowler.
Here.
Maureen Hickey.
Here.
Harold Mateo. Theo Knoll. Marie Ray.
Here.
Gail Sievert here, and Charlie Tukoski.
Here.
All right. Thank you very much. So the next order of business is I'd like to introduce everyone to our new senior planner, our Samantha replacement. So glad to have her on board, and which is Marissa Meany, and also Erin Kinda. I don't know if anybody here has met her. So Erin was sort of the interim until Marissa's hired. Also, you know, a huge resource. She's the economic planner for the town. So I'm going to give them the floor for a few minutes, starting with Erin, and just introduce yourself and let everybody know what your role is and what you're doing for the town.
Sure, I'll be quick because I want you guys to all have a chance to meet Marissa. I'm Erin Kokinda. I met a handful of you here on this call. Nice to see you all again. I've been just working between the time Steve has left, was having Kevin, Marissa starting, a lot of changes going on, working kind of in the interim with helping Gail with the SHI stuff, the Q2 ARPA reports for you guys, and just making sure all those things are continuing to move forward until Marissa started. So I just am getting her up to speed on some of that stuff. Worked prior to Sam on some of this housing initiatives as well. So pretty familiar with a number of the projects, but I'm going to turn it over to Marissa, who I'm so thrilled to have on board. She's going to be your point of contact. You won't see me probably at this meeting again, but I just thought it'd be good. If there are questions that I can answer, I'm here. So Marissa, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Erin. It's nice to meet you, everybody, virtually. Hopefully I get to do it in person soon. My name is Marissa Meany. I'm the senior planner for the town. I've been in Wakefield now for about a month. I spent the last 5 years in Swampscott, first as the land use coordinator, and then moved into a planner role there as well. Worked primarily with the land use boards and commissions, so planning and zoning, conservation, and we had a historic district commission as well. Helped a little bit with Swampscott's Affordable Housing Trust, so I am familiar with sort of the mission of the trust and what the group works to do. Excited to be involved with you guys here in Wakefield in a more formal capacity, and it seems like you guys have some great initiatives going on as well. The trust in Swampscott didn't really have a whole lot going on, so it's great to see that you guys even are like, having only been recently formed, it's great to see that you guys have already sort of hit the ground running with some great programs. And so I'm excited to be a part of it.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're super excited to have you. So glad to have you on board.
Thank you.
Erin, thanks again for all the help that you've been in the last few months since the transitions of both Steve and Sam. So yes, Marissa will be at the meetings going forward. But we always know Erin's in the background, which is awesome. So the next order of business.
Gail,
yes.
Could I suggest that we introduce ourselves to Marissa?
Oh yeah. Oh God, that's a great idea.
Okay. I'll start. My name is Bill Boudry, Marissa, and I'm the finance committee representative to this board. So
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Awkward. Sarah Fowler, nice to meet you. Welcome.
Thank you.
And I also serve as chair of the Housing Authority. So I work closely with Maureen Hickey on how we popcorn to Maureen, make it easy.
Yeah, thank you. That was easy. Hi, I'm Maureen Hickey. Marissa, welcome.
Hi.
I'm on this board representing the Council on Aging. I sit on that board, but as Sarah said, I'm also the director of the Housing Authority. So I bring that to this table too. Welcome.
Thank you.
I'll go next. Hi, Marissa. How are you? I'm Marie Ray. I am Chair of Wakefield's Commission on Disabilities. I am also the parent of a 28-year-old son with Down syndrome, and also involved with Inspire Cafe in the square. I don't know if you've been there yet or not,
Yes,
but
yeah,
please stop by.
I will. Went there. That's where I met Gail the first time.
There you
So
go. Thank you, Gail, for suggesting Inspire.
Hey, I'm Charlie Tikotsky. I'm at-large representative.
And I'm Stacy Constas. I'm the town council liaison to this group.
great to meet everyone.
Thank you, Gail.
Sorry. It's rude of me. Okay. It's just that we have so much to get through, so I wanted to make sure that we keep on with the time. So the next thing we want to do is I want to review with everybody the WRAP program and how we've been doing. This is going to lead right into our approval of the Q2 ARPA report, which Marissa had sent out before this meeting. So far, there's a spreadsheet that in addition to the report, there's a spreadsheet that's kept up to date. So far, we've had 42 applicants. Of those 42, 1 was withdrawn, 4 were denied, 2 are waiting paperwork, and that means 35 have been processed. So we've had 35 applications that have received funding. Of the money we've spent so far, 104,000 has been spent on deposits. So that's security deposits. 4,050 has been sent on utility deposits, and 5,500 has been spent for movers, for moving expenses. In total, that's 113,000, 114,000 rounded up. The total amount that we have to spend, that we've allocated to spend thus far, is 200,000. So we have 86,000 remaining. One of the things actually, Aaron, you and I haven't, or you and I, Aaron, I say Aaron because we've talked about this before, but Marissa, we got to kind of figure this out, is if after 90 days, for those people that were given less than $5,000, if it has been past the 90-day, does that remainder, do we hold that out is to be allocated to them, or is that rolled back into the funds? I say that because the remaining right now is about $86,000, but of that, in theory, 71,000 of it has been committed because we've given them money, but we've given them less than the 5,000. So one of the things I think that I'm not really sure about, it's not really specified. It's specified in the document that you have 90 days. Once your application is approved, you have 90 days to use the money. If you don't use it, but you have a reason for it, we can extend that, but the limit is 90 days. So that would give me the impression that after 90 days, if the applicant hasn't spent the entire 5,000, that it kind of goes back to the pool of money that's available, which is right now, as I said, about $86,000. Unless does anybody have any thoughts on that just for the group?
I
Can
think
you-
that sounds reasonable, Gail, that the money goes back into the pool because, I mean, most of this is security deposits, so hopefully people won't need more or additional funding in 90 days. Hopefully they're, leased up to stay
Okay.
and won't have to move, so how did we word it in the application?
It's worded such, I don't have the exact wording, but it's if you have 90 days from the time that we've accepted the application to use the funds. And we can extend that if we want, but some of these that we're talking about are, hang on, I'm just letting Harold in. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I apologize for that. Yeah, some of these that we're talking about, like we're back from 2024, like the end of 24. So I just want to make sure that's my understanding would be that if they have not spent the funds within the 90 days, and it's probably been more than 90 days for a lot of these, that we can then assume that that money is going to be back in the pool. The reason I'm saying that is because as Marissa is approving the applications, and we've only allocated $200,000 to the program at this point, we just want to make sure that we're not promising something and then not having the funds to fulfill it. Okay.
So for a point of clarification, when somebody makes an application, they state the amount of money that they want up to a dollar value?
No, they're maxed out at $5,000. So what they do is, and that can be used for the three things that I had said before. They can use it for security deposit, first and last months, whatever that is. They can use it for utility deposits, and they can use it for moving expenses. So for some of these people, they might have just used it for the security deposit, and let's say that the security deposit was $4,500. We've paid that. They don't get any cash. We pay it to the vendors.
Okay.
So we would have paid the $4,500, and now it's 180 days later, and that 500 never got spent. But the offer letter, the acceptance letter, the acceptance letter states that the grant is up to $5,000.
And so we are not communicating with them with the follow-up, your funds are getting ready to expire, do you have any final receipts to submit? No. Okay, so it's on them to do what they need to do.
Yeah.
That actually, well, to that point, that was one of the first things I did when I got here after Erin introduced me to the program. I went through the beginning of the list of the accepted RAV applicants, those who had already used certain amounts of their funds. And I reached out and sent a very general email to, ask how they were doing. And I hope they were able to benefit from the program. And if there were any additional questions, just to let me know, or if there's any assistance that we could, in addition, that we could provide, let me know. And I tried to phrase it in a way that didn't say that the funds were necessarily available for them, but maybe, I could point them in the right direction if they needed any other resources beyond what we are able to provide. And of the maybe 12 or so people that I sent that email out to, I think 4 responded and thanked us for, thanked us for being able to benefit from the program. It was very useful to them. They're all, set up in their new places. They had an easy and smooth transition because they were able to access these funds, and they're otherwise all set. It's not meant to obviously be used for ongoing rent payments. And as Gail mentioned, we had a few denials, and that was the reason why, more or less, was because people, I think, were looking for ongoing rental payment assistance, and so that's not something that the program can offer. So, but otherwise, the people that I did reach out to who responded said that they were all set. So.
Okay, so I guess then you're going to make the assumption that if you haven't heard back from people with additional receipts, then they've spent what they've spent.
Right.
So then I would agree that the money should go back into the pool.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to bring that to the attention of the group. So as you can see, the program has been very well received. It's really a nice benefit for these people, especially because it is, $5,000 is a hefty down payment to put in for rent with the rent expenses that we have right now. So the information that I gave you was basically is inception to date. The next thing we're going to do is we need to have an approval of the ARPA report. So everyone had gotten a copy of that, but just to go over it at a high level, the total amount of the funding. So now I'm on the report. Total amount of funding is $200,000. For the quarter, which is Q2, $47,321 has been spent. Cumulative $71,592. So remember, this is for the quarter, which would be ending 6/30. Let me just go through the pages. There's a lot to this. Oops. Okay, here's. All right, now my machine has locked up. I can't get the report. Okay. As I said, I now have a technical difficulty where my machine is locked up and I'm unable to read any more of this report. So if you have it in your possession, is there any questions on it? No. Okay.
I just had a,
Gail, can I ask, who prepares the report? Who's responsible for preparing the report?
It was Sam historically. Aaron, I think you did this one. And I did review it. As I said, there's a spreadsheet that's kept. So I went through the spreadsheet and then there was a couple minor things, did some questions, but basically at this point it was Aaron that prepared it, and then Marissa will prepare it going forward. So she'll prepare the 931.
Thank you.
And also accounting, they make sure all the numbers
Oh,
line
yeah.
up with what the invoicing, they send the spreadsheet that you see at the first, at the end of the report. First thing you see with the breakdown of each quarter, that's accounting.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to, even if it's they're not here, but I want to give a shout out to Jackie Sorrentino and Kevin Gill. They were the interim people that I was working with to approve the applications, and Jackie was the one until Marissa showed up that was sending out the letters, and that was a huge resource to just keep everything going while Sam's replacement was found. So thank you very much to Kevin and Jackie for that help. Okay, now I'm back in the game again. So overview, the Wakefield Renters Assistance Program established October 1st, 2024 by the town. It provides a one-time grant to town residents for their rental deposits, utility deposits, and removing expenses up to $5,000. At the time of preparing this report, the estimated percentage of project completion is 35.8%. At the time of this report, what is estimated completion date is December 31st, 2026. So I want to emphasize something there. That means that the $200,000 of ARPA funds has to be spent by December 31st, 2026. However, if we were to allocate more money to it, it doesn't mean that the program has to go away. It's just the first $200,000 has to be spent by December 31st, 2026. And honestly, at the rate we're going, I certainly don't see that to be a problem at this point. Within this quarter, the RAP program assisted 13 applicants, providing support for 10 security deposits, 7 first month's rent payments, 7 utility deposits, 2 moving expenses. Some applications received a combination of these supports up to the $5,000 limit. In our last report, we anticipated dispersing an additional $10,000 this quarter. We surpassed that goal by distributing over $47,000. So think about that. We anticipated 10, we distributed $47,000. This increase was made possible through stronger connections with multifamily property managers and increased awareness of the program. So I believe that, like Maureen, you've introduced people to the program. I know that the Wakefield Gas and Light Department has introduced people to this program. So definitely the agencies within town are, making people aware that this does exist. And so we've been able to support, a number of people. Some people recent one we had was a woman was in Linfield, right? I think Marissa, and she was moving to the Basin. So she got one of the low income units that was offered at the Basin. So that's nice. So the goals and objectives for the quarter. This quarter, the focus is on expanding outreach to increase awareness and participation in the program. Key goals include boost marketing efforts to reach new and current residents through updated materials and online platforms, engage affordable housing consultants and nonprofit partners to promote the program. We would like to see 15 to 20 applicants next quarter and expand the same or more the quarter after. So that's the report. If there's no questions, I need move to accept the report?
So
I'll make
moved.
the motion. Oh, who's
Nope.
doing it?
Go ahead, Maureen.
I'll make the motion to accept the quarter and 6/30/25 ARPA. It's the ARPA funds report, right?
Yep.
As presented by Gail.
I second it.
Sorry, I took my notes. Okay, we're going to do a roll call vote. Please say yay or nay when I call your name. Bill Boudry,
Yes.
Stacy Constas,
Yes.
Sarah Fowler,
Yay.
Maureen Hickey,
Yes.
Harold Mateo. Unmute yourself, darling. Okay, we'll come back to Harold. Theo's on here. Marie Ray,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Harold, are you there? Can you vote on these minutes? Okay, we'll just put abstain for now.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute myself. Gosh, that was terrible. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Yay.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Thank
my
you.
phone got all wet, so I couldn't click the buttons.
I know I had some technical difficulties when I first got into this thing too. Okay, great. Thank you so much. So we'll move on to the next, which is the approval of the June 11 minutes. Everyone should have gotten a copy of that. If there's no questions, if I can just get a move to approve it.
I'll make a motion to
approve.
approve the June meeting minutes.
Okay.
And I'll
thank you. I'm sorry, who seconded? I didn't catch.
Sarah.
Okay, great. We're gonna do, Harold, we're gonna have to unmute you again. So we need a roll call vote, starting with Bill Boudry,
Yes.
Stacy Constas.
I didn't attend that meeting, so
Oh,
I'm not
that's-
gonna vote. Yeah.
Yeah, abstain. Sarah Fowler,
Yes.
Maureen Hickey,
Yes.
Harold Mateo.
Yes.
Theo's not here. Marie, you were at that
I
meeting?
was not at that
You were
meeting,
not,
no.
okay. Gail Siebert, yes. And Charlie Tukotsky, were you there?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And so moved to accept the minutes of the June 11th, 2025. Okay, the next on the agenda is the update on the status of the housing production plan and WHT's role in the execution of the plan. So Marissa and or Aaron, could you just let us know, it hasn't been, it's been approved by the town, still with the state, is that correct?
That is correct, yeah. We heard today that they have 90 days to approve it, so we should hopefully receive something by mid-November.
Mid-October.
Mid-October, excuse me. Oh, Erin, you went back on mute.
We sent it in on July 16th or so, July 16th. On August 18th, we heard from EOHLC that they did their initial review. They had no comments or anything back. They were going to continue the review. And they have 90 days from the submittal of receiving the document, which again was in July 16th, to do their review and send back for approval or disapproval. And so that brings us to around October 14th. So hoping we'll hear something then. But in the initial review, they didn't have any comments, which I'll take as a good thing.
Agreed. So one of the things I said this in the last meeting, and I'm probably going to say it in every single meeting going forward. But now that we, basically have a plan in place, what do we think the role should be of the Wakefield Housing Trust to ensure or support Erin, Marissa, the new town moderator, to ensure that the plan is being followed. And that, as you know, one of the goals on the plan is to meet our 10% for the 40B. I don't know what it looks like. I just wanted to know what other people thought about, like, and or, Marissa and Erin, how can we support you to ensure that the plan is being met? That's what we're here for, to, hopefully hold the town accountable for making sure that we can, we're building, affordable units for people.
Yeah, I think it would, honestly, just using it as a guide, based on the recommendations that they gave to the town and different groups and committees, to create affordable housing. I think with you guys, it may be looking at some of our bylaws and seeing ways that we could create new affordable housing and working with the appropriate other committees and groups for that. That's just one example. But I think really using it as an asset to you guys in ways, for recommendations on working with other groups to maybe make some changes here in town to create more affordable housing. And, we'll be, of course, always the liaison to other groups within, internal departments as well. But that's the way I look at it too. I think there's a lot of great, opportunity actually in our last plan that we didn't take advantage of, that we should really be using this group and others to kind of move things forward.
So then that would consist of continuing to meet at some interval as a group, or
This
with,
group, yeah, at a minimum, this group has to meet quarterly,
okay,
because we do need to get together quarterly to approve the ARPA report that's done. So in essence, we have to meet, ideally we'd meet sometime at the, end of October, beginning of November again, to approve the 9:30 minutes, or 9:30 ARPA report, so the Q3 report. One of the things that, I'm just gonna, I have ignorance on as it relates to this, and this is one of the reasons why I joined this group in the first place, is, when we have a development like the Basin, which, you see, unless you're really, tuned into the paper, which now I'm way more tuned in to the paper about building because I'm on this committee. But, why wasn't there a discussion about possibly making not just 78 units affordable, but, having, since it's 400 units, to have, asked the developer about partnering with a LIHTC developer where we could have gotten an entire building set aside at, 100% affordable. So what I don't know is when these developers come to the table, whether they're coming to zoning or planning, and I don't even know if this comes to town council. That's kind of confusing to me. I don't know how it works. Is there somebody that's in the group that can raise their hand and say, hey, can't we do some more affordable here? Knowing that that's our role, I'm just going to focus on that piece.
Bill Renaud, the town engineer, who is also the town ADA coordinator, I think would be someone that I might recommend. That's something he would be sensitive to.
That's where I'll try to step in as well. At the risk of not comparing everything to Swampscott, but that's the only other community that I've worked in. Whenever we had large projects that had to account for affordable units to meet the inclusionary zoning requirements, and by the way, you guys are light years ahead in Wakefield with your 18%. Swampscott is 10%, and it's only triggered at a net gain of 10 units. So if you're knocking down a 3-family and you're building 11 units, you're not required to put any affordable in there. But nonetheless, when we have these large projects, and they were received by our planning office, we would distribute all of the project materials to, you know, appropriate staff departments and other boards and committees for input where it is, you know, where it is recommended. And so this might mean that you guys could meet maybe a little bit more regularly as, you know, new proposals for development start coming in, and you as a body could look at the plans together, look at the development, and, you know, come up with strategies maybe on a case by case basis, write formal letters of recommendation, you know, with my assistance to the developers, and try to see or invite them to a meeting of yours to see if you could talk to them about taking advantage of LIHTC or other ways that they could add more affordable units into their proposed development rather than just going straight for that 18%.
Okay, great. So Marissa, you can be the conduit. As you know, when things are coming up, you can, you know, throw them over to the bow to whoever, myself, if I'm still the chair, or whoever the chair is, and say, hey, you guys should have a meeting on this. This is where we have some, you know, potential for affordable housing, and you should start to, you know, go to these meetings or whatever where it's being discussed. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I like take a 40B, for example, the process, the application comes before the Zoning Board of Appeals, right? At least in Swampscott, it was practiced that, you know, as part of the application, they wanted to receive letters of endorsement or recommendation or some kind of statement from every applicable board or committee or department. And so if there is another 40B that's forthcoming in town, and it's going through the process of the Zoning Board of Appeals, you as the Affordable Housing Trust can review the plans separately or together as a group, come together, write a letter that is addressed to the zoning board, and you know, your recommendations should be taken into consideration when the board is considering the approval and all the conditions that that project has to meet.
Oh, okay, great, great.
Gail,
Yep.
so trying to put myself in the shoes of a developer, they don't want to bring more affordable units in when they can get more money for non-affordable. And this precedent set in town based on the way, you know, the town has gone about establishing guidelines for new development. So I'm just gonna, you know, throw this out an idea that, you know, I don't know if this makes any sense. It might be worth having a conversation with Tom Mullen, town council, to see how he reacts to this conversation, because my reaction is what you're talking about doesn't have much legs. Just my reaction doesn't mean I'm right. So if others have a different perspective on that, obviously I value it, but I think Tom Mullen might be able to add some value to about what's possible or process wise how something could be done. So that's a suggestion.
I think too, looking at this housing production plan, you know, they have a recommendation about looking at affordable housing overlay, looking at the different AMIs that we currently, right now we have 18%, you know, the affordability at 80% AMI, which is pretty high. I think one of the recommendations through the housing production plan is looking to lower the AMI for some of these new developments. So we are creating, I know it's not increasing the SHI number, but it's still helping to create more affordable units. But I think too, it's always at the forefront of conversations of different opportunities that are available to do affordable housing. Like Marissa said, I think we're light years ahead, but I think there's definitely more work that we could be doing when it comes to supporting the actual affordable units. So, and like Marissa said, we could add support to the Zoning Board of Appeals at the initial conversation when, you know, these developers come in even before the Zoning Board of Appeals to let them know that this is important and coming from you guys as well. But Bill, I agree with you. And when it comes to looking at the bylaws, our 18% should be a conversation with Tom and how you guys go about doing that.
I'm sure, well, Marissa, I don't know if you've met Tom yet, but you know, I think Tom, if Gail would, you know, be amenable to sitting in on the meeting and discussing the matter with us if people thought that would add value.
He's also, if he's the right person to, and I don't know, I'm new to this group, so I'm learning as I go. He's very accessible. And if we invited him to the next quarterly meeting with just the high level question, how does affordable housing get approved? How do we go about it? How do we think about it? I'm sure he would give us, 15 minutes of his time to sort of school us on best steps or how to think about it or how not to miss opportunities.
Right, and I think there's another, sorry, Maureen, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say, ask what the SHI number is today.
The percentage,
Yeah,
8.83.
thanks.
8.83 based on a denominator from
2020.
2020.
Mhm.
So it's actually, if you were to look at all the ads, so I actually did a preliminary spreadsheet, and of course it's not at 8, we're not at 8%. Because I think it was like, I'm just off the top of my head, I think it was like 200 units short with the new denominator. And the other thing is that if, and I don't know how this works in town either, Bill, as I said, I'm totally ignorant with this stuff, is, can we, if the developer won't put affordable units in, can we ask for a proffer that actually then puts money into the Wakefield Housing Trust that we could use for the RAP program, since that's successful as well. So,
That's
and I don't know
Swampscott
how
does
that
that.
works.
Yeah, I've seen other communities do that.
A fee in lieu. Swampscott does that. So it's absolutely doable.
Right. So, I mean, that's another way to, at least, as I said, if we can't get but we really want to push for the SHI units. That's the whole point. I mean, that was the whole point of the housing production plan. And if you look through it and the towns voted in the affirmative, then there's got to be a way that we can, I think there's in the back of my mind, what the concern is that they're just going to ignore it like the last one. And that would be a shame if that was the case. So, we want to do our best to keep this on the forefront of, and, in a LIHTC development, the developer still wins. The property still cash flows. There's usually a lot of soft financing that state will give. The developers still get their developer fee. It's one of those situations where everybody can win. It's just that I'm not sure that people know enough about it to use it as a tool to try to get some of that in town. So anyway, as I said, this is going to be on the agenda every quarter just to keep it into the forefront of what we can do as a group. And as I said, Marissa, yes, if you can let us know, if you need us to come to meetings, if you need letters from us, please do that.
And I'm sure Melissa's going to be talking to people, getting to know people on the zoning board too, and you'll gain, some wisdom that maybe we don't have about their processes and what they typically see and what they're bound by. That could even be somebody else to invite to a meeting, the chair of that board, Gail.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, here's my list sheet. Okay, so another thing that's gonna come back to the table, this was tabled a number of months ago, is the membership, having the Wakefield Housing Trust fund the membership in the Metro North Regional Housing Services Office. So this, if you remember, and Aaron, I'm gonna have to point to you because you brought it up, and I only have like a little bit that I remember from Sam. So this is a group of communities in the area. I believe it's, I know Reading's one of them. I think Wilmington. There's a couple other ones where there's a consultant that, like, effectively we're paying as a group for a consultant that would help with keeping the inventory for the affordable housing. It was be a place for Marissa to go to and Aaron to go to get some help with, as I said, some of these things that we're trying to do with zoning or affordable housing. Aaron, if you could just continue, because the reason we're bringing it up now is because they did find a consultant to fill the role. That's the reason it got tabled. Okay, so sorry, Aaron, go ahead.
Oh, don't be sorry. So yes, if I don't, thank you, Gail. So last year, I know Sam was in front of you guys explaining this Metro North Housing Services Office. So it's a consultant service that's been around with the other communities that surround us, Wilmington, Reading, Stoneham, and I believe Linfield may have been part of it as well in the past. Wakefield has never taken advantage of it. And so basically we have an intermunicipal agreement that is signed between all these communities to work with a consultant to handle all of the housing needs that we need, especially when it comes to monitoring our SHI numbers, making sure that everything is submitted to the state to make sure we stay on top of that. It also helps, again, with what Gail was just alluding to with looking at zoning bylaws, seeing if there's things that we could do to change for that to create more affordable housing within the town. I think a big part of it, I think Sam talked about this too, is local ownership units, which we also have. So we keep talking about a lot of times about rentals. That's a lot of what our makeup of our affordable housing is here in town, but we do have ownership as well. And that is a little more work when we're doing kind of the paperwork, if you will, in tracking those units. So they will help us conduct annual monitoring. So they'll send letters to all the rental developments, making sure that they still have all their affordable units. They'll create the packages that go to the state that we currently do internally to make sure all of our numbers are up to date. They'll make sure we have every development on our list with affordable units. Trying to think what else. The local support, I talked about that. They support municipalities with questions about affordable housing trusts, can help again with the RAP program, maybe find other ways to fund that. So they offer a lot of assistance in partnership with these other communities. So an RFP went out at the end of last year. We did not get anything. It's being led by the town of Reading. And so we brought the RFP back, kind of reworked it a little bit and put it back out at the beginning of the summer. And we did hear from a consultant at the end of July, beginning of August, Barrett Planning Group. And so we all reviewed the proposals, all the communities, and we definitely think they can do exactly what we're looking for based on the RFP. So this is being led through the town of Reading. So they're kind of the leader, if you will, of this. And every quarter we would pay to the town of Reading for these consulting services. And so I very much, after being here for 5 years, working with Sam in the past, working with Steve, with all the housing stuff, think it's very much a need because Wakefield is creating a lot of affordable units, which is great. It's just a lot of maintenance and it's time consuming. And I think it's very important that we do stay on top of it. So I'd be a huge proponent in giving this a shot and seeing the assistance that they could provide for us. And the contract, so I guess one more thing I'll add is I think after the conversation that you guys last had with this at the end of 2024, I think an intermunicipal agreement was signed between the town council and other towns that are part of this consortium to do this program with them, do the consulting work. It's just the funding of it, I think, was the conversation with the Affordable Housing Trust, funding it through you guys.
What is the cost, Aaron? What's
It's $15,000 a year.
a year?
Mm-hmm.
And Marie, what we had talked about previously was we could agree to the 15,000 for 1 year, and we could come to a vote year after year if we didn't think we were getting our money's worth in year one, after year one. But like, for example, Aaron, the letter for those units that were up off of Hopkins Road, the Veritas units, I don't remember the name of that. That's right. Like they could assist with us trying to get those units on our SHI books.
Yeah, which has been an ongoing conversation. I think it's just good practice to make, make sure that by using this consultant, they're doing the monitoring. I think that's really important. I mean, we've done so much work over the last like 5 or so years. It's great, but it would be nice to have a second set of eyes, hands to help us internally.
You know, Erin, on that note, do you think that they would, for all the affordable owned that we have in town, would they be able to then like maybe do the task of pulling the deed to see what liens are on it? I just really would hate for us to get in another situation where we lost a unit at Heron Pond because the guy had over leveraged his home. And
I believe that's something that they would do, because I think that does fall within kind of the purview of what this consultant is supposed to be doing with
Okay.
these ownership units. Yes.
okay.
I'm just
So for
looking
those
at
that are new to the group,
the
Steve,
track foreclosures and stuff like that. Yes.
yeah, so there was a unit at Heron Pond that was originally under affordable, and it's owned, and it got into foreclosure, and we didn't have a chance to even, you know, for like us to come up with the money to take it back. It like the guy had put like multiple liens on it, like multiple pieces of debt, and so we would be too far down on the totem pole, and so it's going to end up going to market rate when they sell it. So it would be great if we could be proactive and make sure that those units that are in our inventory aren't over leveraged by the owner, or at least be aware that that could be a situation. And in this same thing, I think that Kevin's on top of this too, that for that Heron Pond unit, that there should be money coming back to the Wakefield Housing Trust since it's going to be turned into market rate. I don't know what that number is, but I remember Steve saying that, and I believe that Kevin's on top of it. But this would be another thing that this consultant would be able to help out and make sure that we could do.
If we thought we had had a chance to purchase that unit, where is the source of funds, even for this $15,000 to pay the consultant? Where is the source of funds for this committee? In addition to the opera, or is there any in addition to the opera funds, or is that it?
Yes, Marie, I'm sorry. Yes. There's, I think, $750,000 that's still in the fund. So there was two pieces of it. There was 750,000, and then there was this $200,000 ARPA. The one we had to take care of right away was the ARPA money, because if we didn't get a letter of intent or MOU,
Memorandum of Understanding, yes.
memo of understanding to the state, we would have lost the money. So the original push was just focusing on that 200,000. This gets back to my conversation earlier about, as we bump up against the 200,000, as a group, we could allocate some of that 750
Gotcha.
to the RAP program. But I don't want it to be like an open-ended, that 750 is not part of the RAP program right now. As a group, we would have to vote to move money, effectively earmark it, that's where it's going to go. But the 750, I mean, we can use that, for example, to let's say a developer wanted to develop, I'm going to throw it out there because it's going to come up in conversation, but the herd school, and they needed $300,000 of soft financing. The Wakefield Housing Trust could come in and say, of that 750, yes, we will give you $300,000 as soft financing, that can, as long as you make these units affordable.
And so as you spend down this money, are there other sources of funds? Like, are we able to write grants for other sources of funds? What happens when the money's gone? That's the end of the story.
Marie, that is an excellent question. And that is actually number 10 on this agenda.
Oh, sorry.
Which we can move right to. that is a good point. That's one of the things as a group we need to think about. This is another place where possibly this, the consortium would help out. And Marissa, is can we apply for grants? You know, is there places that we can go to, companies that we can go to? I wouldn't say the federal government anymore because I'm not really sure where there's any money there left. But is there, you know, can we go to Cummings? Is there places that we could go that we could ask for grant money to support this pool? And as I said, you know, we start to maybe put in this in lieu of, I call them proffers, but this in lieu of that says, oh, okay, Mr. Developer, you want to do that? All right, you're going to put $10,000 into this fund. So there's those are the ways I know of, but that's what another thing I do, you know, want to keep to the forefront of the group is where can we, you know, continue to get funds to, you know, support the cause, if you will.
Gail, do we need to vote on the consortium funding tonight? Where's the RFP? When does a decision need to be made?
Sorry, I'm muted. So, like I said, the town council already signed an intermunicipal agreement. They, Barrett Planning Group had a meeting today with Reading. The contract that was signed was for July 1, 2025 until, hold on one second, June 30th of, yeah, the fiscal year, June 30th, 2026. And so they'll prorate, so we may not pay the full $15,000 because they haven't done any work for us yet. But it would be great if we could allocate the money. It's coming from you guys, so when you want to do it, but I think they want to get the ball rolling on using them for this year.
So the town council, I'm sorry, Gail.
No, Maureen, that's what I said. I want to open this up
in-
to comments.
Yeah,
Yes.
without the funding?
That's what I think. I was
Allocated?
looking at old files and trying to go through old town council notes. There was an agreement that was signed. I'd have to confirm that. But I did, going through old things, it looks like an agreement was signed. Hold on one second.
So maybe they found another resource for that fund for this year, or if this group didn't agree that they would come up with it from somewhere else.
I don't know how, I'm sorry, I don't know how you guys left it with the funds, if it kind of was talked about. I mean, the last time I saw it was talked about was last December, I think, with you guys.
Well, nothing happened with it, Aaron, because it didn't exist. Theoretically, it didn't exist.
Okay.
You know, because there was no consultant, so there was nothing to do. So it's coming back around because now they have a consultant.
Okay.
So yes, it would be $15,000. The agreement is just saying that, you know, we'll work together with this consultant. I'm just reading.
So I mean, I have a thought about, like, I know we're on pace to spend the $200,000, the ARPA funds, but if we allocate the $15,000 from that gets us closer to meeting that goal for December 31st, you know, without any worries. We could always, you know, like you said, allocate some of the 750 over to the RAP program if we wanted to, but I mean, that's just my thought. That would help us get to that goal so that we're sure we're gonna get there.
That's absolutely right. We can take it from yes, ARPA funds can pay for this. Yes.
If everybody agrees, I'm just in
Correct.
theory. So in theory, though, every year you'd be asking the housing trust to come up with the $15,000.
I don't know what discussions were unfortunately had about that, if that was looking at this group to fund it moving forward, or if we were hoping to find other funds, but I think it kind of fits the mission of what you guys are doing, if the money was available, but I can't speak to that.
Yeah, well, there's just not a source of incoming money for this trust, you know, for the trust. So
Yeah.
that would be my only concern.
Kara, do you remember what meeting the town council discussed that or signed?
I'm trying to pull up the document now. It keeps freezing on me. It looks like it was signed by, I'm just trying to find the date. Bear with me.
I know that when we talked about it first as a group, we didn't, it didn't go well. Like, I feel like there was a lot of questions. We didn't agree to it initially.
I think this was just more of an agreement that we would work with them. I think the way we're coming for you is more the funding part, so I don't know. I don't want to speak out of turn without knowing what was signed and
Can we
what
see
they-
the RFP maybe?
Sure, I
Eric?
was gonna, well, it sounds like we're past the RFP and there's a document that's been signed. Maybe whatever it is, contract consulting agreement, that may be helpful if we can view that so we understand exactly what this individual would be doing. I know you've explained it, but
let me sorry, my computer keeps freezing. It's not showing me the initial pages of signature. Well, it shows me the signature, but not the date. I believe it was after the last time you guys talked about it in December. But I did not find where it was discussed at the town council meeting. So 1 second. So I believe you guys had a meeting December 2024, and I think that's where I saw this discussion. And I know a former Councilor McLean was on it and talked. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to speak out of turn.
Well, I don't believe that Mike was a proponent of it.
where
Is
did
Barrett
he
Is Barrett the
feel?
consultant that did the HPP or no? Was that somebody different?
Someone
No.
different.
That was me.
Where did Mike feel the money should come from? He felt the town should cover it? Or he just wasn't on board with the whole consulting idea?
I don't remember specifically. I just know he wasn't a proponent of it.
I will have to get back to you.
Well, we can absolutely get more information and bring this up at the next meeting. It's going to be within the next, I would like to get one on the books in October.
Okay.
Because I think we can, you guys, it looks like we have a what do you call it? The template for the ARPA report's pretty easy.
Mhm.
So it should be able, because I want to just wrap that in so that we can, do the third quarter ARPA report at the next meeting. So we could get more detail. I think, like as Marie said, like not only what globally did they do for us, but then what specific things would we have them do? If we gave you the $15,000 today, what is it on that list that you would have them do? So that we
Okay.
would have a clear understanding. And once again, I want to say that even if we did it for 1 year, it's not like we don't have to give the money year over year. If we decide we're not getting our money's worth, we didn't have to commit past the year. So is that amenable to people to do that?
Yeah, I would like to read the document and
What document do you want? The RFP, the agreement?
the agreement probably, because the RFP is
Yeah, I think the agreement,
passed, so we would need the agreement. If we've signed it, if this town has signed a document, what is it they signed?
Yeah,
They signed this
I've been looking through my emails. I mean, I'm not finding it, but I gotta think that this committee saw it at some point, but I can't find it.
no, Bill, I'm not sure we saw anything physically in writing. I'll be honest with you. I know it was discussed, but it was such an up in the air thing because there wasn't a consultant. So it was more, it wasn't concrete about.
You don't think we saw the RFP, Gail? Even?
I don't think we saw an RFP for that group, no.
Oh, okay, all right, my mistake.
I'm just looking at the old agendas. It was on the agenda for town council at the December 11th meeting of last year. So I'll go back and look at the minutes just to see what the what is, because it's on the agenda was just, to discuss the intermunicipal agreement for the Regional Housing Services Office, but that's just the agenda. So I'll find the minutes and then we'll see what was decided.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see it now. Okay, this is back in 2024, December 16th. Okay. Oh, I found it.
Okay, so also so I have the paragraph from the minutes from that December meeting for us. Mr. McLean expressed concern for paying for other towns' hours. Ms. Elliott can clarify that the scope included work just for our municipality and it was set up as a shared consultant. She offered to provide a copy of the scope again via email and asked the group to reach out with any new questions. It's that scope document, Bill, I don't remember getting that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I found the minutes. It does say here, and I'll go back and watch the meeting, but it does say the Housing Trust voted to expend $15,000 for a one-year intermunicipal agreement with a number
Oh,
of
we
surrounding.
didn't,
We never did that,
that didn't happen.
no.
Okay, I'm just
If you're
reading
looking at
them.
town council meeting, yeah, if you look through our minutes, that was never voted on.
Okay.
That's interesting. Did the town council sign this intermunicipal agreement with the wrong impression that this group was planning to fund?
And if that's the case, that means the clock is ticking and we paid for something on July 1st that we're not understanding.
So
Oh,
nothing's been
okay.
paid yet.
But did we? That's what I was gonna say, did we?
Nothing's been paid yet.
Okay.
So I think we may have actually voted
Oh,
to expend the 15,000.
I think we
I
did.
think we did too, and I was holding
Um,
my tongue because I'm trying to find it.
It was
I think
July
I was
29th,
both.
July
Yeah.
29th, 2024.
Oh,
Erin, what was the date of the selectmen's meetings? I'm trying to look at those minutes.
December 16th, 2024.
Yeah, it was the.
I feel like
sorry to correct you. It was the 11th, December 11th, 2024.
I feel like I made the motion to spend it and then I withdrew it after the discussion.
Well, the
If
motion.
if
the
my
motion-
memory serves me right, I don't think we followed through with the motion.
The motion passed at town council 6-0, so Mike McLean. Assuming he was there, because now, it says 6-0, 6-0, so. There are 7 town councils, maybe he wasn't there, but
So the minutes for for you guys on the July one that Charlie found was, at the end it says, alludes to what you said. Ms. Hickey made a motion to approve using trust funds to pay the $15,000 fee for membership in the MNRHSO for a period of 1 year. Mr. Mateo seconded the motion. The motion carried at 6-0.
We talked about it a long time, but then I think Sam had clarified something about the hours, as you just mentioned, Gail, and that we ultimately approved it.
okay, yes, you're right. I was looking at the December ones because we didn't get, I forgot all of this
So
last
we
one, but
talked
yeah,
about
no,
it
you're
probably
right.
in December and then July again.
Yeah, it was on like 4 agendas in a
Okay.
row. Like we did belabor it, looking for more information.
All right, well, that's good news that we voted for it.
Okay, so, we did
It
vote
looks
for
like
it,
you're all set.
then you're all
But
set.
did we say
Well,
whether it was ARPA funds or the regular trust funds? Does it matter?
It doesn't reflect
It
that
doesn't matter,
here.
but we
No.
can, you know what, Maureen, to your point, we can take it out of ARPA. Once again, we have the ability to move anything from the 750 over if we want to.
Sounds good.
Okay.
But
So,
Erin, if you can get a copy of whatever this, the contract that whomever has, Reading has with the consultant, so that we understand what this statement of work is, so
Well,
use that term because that's the term I use in my line of business.
So we don't know if we ever paid the $15,000?
Oh, no, I know we didn't pay it.
You sure?
I'm sure because there was no consultant there. There was
Yeah.
nothing to pay it for.
Okay, well, it says who it's the pay, it says who the consultant is in the town council minutes. They voted to authorize, 15,000 to,
No, you're saying the current town council minutes, like the 2025 minutes.
no, 2024, December 16th.
But we didn't vote until July of 25, or was that July of 24?
No, July of 24.
24, okay.
Okay, well, if the money got spent, I don't have an accounting for that, so.
The housing trust voted, the housing trust vote, I'm reading from, and Aaron, if I'm being redundant from what you read, I apologize. The Regional Housing Services Office, the Housing Trust voted to expend 15,000 for 1 year intermunicipal agreement with a number of surrounding communities for consultant, Answer Advisory Management, who will manage the Metro North Regional Housing Services Office and provide affordable housing support and information to member communities and citizens looking to live in the region. Dombrowski moved, Chine seconded, passed 6-0. Kind of give me,
Okay.
if we paid something and we signed up for something and we've never derived any value from it.
No, I will confirm, I'll confirm with counting, but from any conversations I've been part of, no one's been paid. Answer
Okay.
is no longer the consultant, hasn't been. We didn't really have a consultant. I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and watch that meeting.
Yeah,
But
well, that's in the minutes. It's
yeah,
it is
the
what it is.
agreement I'm reading.
I'm not being disagreeable with you, Aaron. I'm just reading verbatim.
No, I'm reading it too. No, I agree. I don't know why it's, no, I'm not, I completely agree with you. I'm just, I'm not sure why it said that, honestly, because the agreement I have in front of me, which I will share with all you, it seems to be pretty general about a regional housing services office. It does not say anything about that specific consultant.
And
Look at all these
Mike McLean was at that meeting too. If you look at the minutes, Doug Butler was absent, but Mike McLean was there.
Well, Marissa, look at all these challenges you have. Things to sort out.
Well, it looks like it was all approved, so
Okay,
it looks like the funds can be spent.
Yep.
Yes, and
Like you're good, Aaron.
Okay, yep, you're good.
I guess I didn't go far enough back. I talking said, yeah, I didn't think it was spent, so, or allocated, so I apologize.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I apologize.
I would offer, and I'll only speak for myself, that meeting so infrequently does not help me have a good cadence, honestly, for what we're doing. I'm not saying we should meet more frequently or whatever, but it's not top of mind stuff for me. I'm just being honest. So I think these gaps in times in meeting, we don't have contiguous conversations about stuff. So.
Yeah, Bill, I don't disagree with that. There was a meeting, we did have a meeting, I think that was a June meeting. I couldn't get a quorum, so I had people not showing up. And then, with Steve's absence and Sam's absence, there was a gap there trying to, figure out like what we were doing and where to go. Like I said, even what to even talk about, because HPP was in flux still. That hasn't,
Yeah.
So there was a lot of stuff that, like I said, and not having quorums, it was hard to get people to get on board.
It's nobody's fault or whatever, but I'm just being honest about where it kind of comes down for me. Not being disrespectful to what this group is trying to do, but just tough only meeting quarterly with, I have a lot of other things going on in my world, and I know everybody else on this call does too. So I don't know, there's a different way, a better way, but I just offer that deal. And I appreciate you being the chair and what you've done.
Well, that's another, I don't have this on the agenda, but we should think about it for the next one, is my term is up October 31st. So, I don't know how it works with.
Well, put it on the agenda and I'll move that Gail Sievert continue.
No, Bill. No.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, so just once again, I just want to make sure that I touched on the subsidized housing. We currently are at 8.3% or 8% right now, but if you look at the, you add the total number of units, additional units to the mix, we're currently at a much bigger shortage of about 114 units. So this is the whole point about HPP. And, I know this is where, Marissa and, now this consortium can help us keep track of what that pre-census, pre-2030 census will be and where we are for the 10% and 40B. So the last thing I want to bring up, this has been a point of discussion in other meetings, is the Herd School. So we did, so Stacy, and you can speak to this too, Stacy. Stacy had a connection from Inspire Cafe with a architect, Janice
Mamayek.
Yamayek.
Mamayek, yes.
Mamayek.
Yeah.
So Janice used to work, she's retired from there now, but she used to work for Icon Architects. She was a principal there. My company has worked with Icon, well, I think since our inception. So we've been working with them for almost 20 years. They do a lot of our school renovations, and we had her come over with the town engineer. Stacy was there, I was there, Harold was there, to have her walk through the school just to see, from somebody who's way more knowledgeable than, the rest of us about what is the potential for that building. As I had stated, I don't think that the building is going to have enough units to qualify for LIHTC, but there could be other ways to utilize it. So Janice is having Icon put together, I believe, Stacy, a proposal, which is a feasibility study. Now, if you remember, Steve had a while back asked this group to fund the feasibility study. I don't know what the dollar amount's going to come back as. And I haven't heard anything from Janice, but I kind of pulled myself out of the loop. But I just wanted to let you know this was happening. We're still trying to figure it out. Potentially in the future, they could come and ask us for money. I don't know if as a group, I would want to have to pay for the whole thing, but, we might, give it to, split it with the town or something. And then if the property is ever sold, get the money back, whatever. Let's say we allocate $10,000 to the study, and it's determined that, it's really only good for market rate, or, this town should just sell the building to do X. They sell it, then, we can just have that money come back into our coffers. Just kind of throwing it out there. And Stacy, have you heard from Janice at all about?
No, Bill Renault had given her what he had in his files, just from, plans and just information that he had about the building. So he passed that over to her probably 2 or so weeks ago. I can check back on my email, and then I haven't heard from her one way or the other. So I can just send her a little ping. But she sounded like she already had some information in process for that building, didn't she, when we were there that day?
Yeah, I mean, she had, what she was looking to do is possibly something that was almost 100% disability, which means they could, there's possible financing other places for disability housing.
Yep.
That's what she was talking about. So I guess nothing's happening really with it. This isn't, and I said, if people outside of this group are, worried about the building, especially as neighbors, nothing's decided. There's nothing, we're still just trying to figure out what is going on. I'm there really as just trying to keep pushing affordable wherever we can. So I'm just bringing it to the group so that you all know or are aware that, this is happening. Probably bring it up at another meeting when we get more information. Okay, that's That's all I have. Is there anybody that wants to add anything? Any other questions?
Can I flog a dead horse for a second? So what's happening with that 15,000 on the intermunicipal? Like, Erin, are you checking in with accounting just to see, like, I know we talked a lot about it, but I'm unclear about where we
Yeah.
landed.
So I will double check that nothing was spent. I'm almost positive nothing has been spent because talking to the other towns, we haven't really gotten anything going. So there's nowhere for the money to go. But I will double check that nothing was spent in accounting.
And then it's interesting, the minutes from the town council, the day they approved it and referred back to this group, had a different consulting name on it. It was, I've gone out of it now, Ansel or something.
Answer, yes. So they were the
Yes.
former consultant.
Yes. So that may be why everything just kind of stopped, like, don't pay the money because they're not going to do the work. But okay, so presuming that accounting says, nope, we never paid it. It sounds like there's a signed agreement. So are we moving forward with that? Are you going to get a pro rata check and pay it out and get Barrett maybe on this next call?
If I can work with Marissa to get Barrett here, if you guys would like, just to talk about their services. As a follow-up to this meeting, I can send you the intermunicipal agreement that was signed, as also with the scope of work that was asked with the RFP. I think you guys will be happy with what the work they're looking to do. And some of the issues that you guys have run into with like the sale of that one unit and our SHI numbers, I think they'll be really beneficial to making sure we're all on top of that. But I will send those over to you.
Okay, thanks. Again, sorry to beat the horse.
Oh,
Nope.
no.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, so in light of Bill Boudreaux's comment about meeting, let's, in light of that,
Yeah, everybody's gonna kill me now. I can
oh
see.
yeah, Bill,
I'm
yeah.
gonna look at my calendar while we're talking about this.
So I would like to get something on the books in October because I said I'd like to be able to do the second quarter ARPA report and then come up with whatever else I may have discussed in the meantime with Marissa to keep things moving. Does Wednesdays, do we want to do the Wednesdays at 6 and maybe say the 15th or 22nd?
15th works for me.
We got a prelim yes on that. Everybody look, that would work for me.
What's the date on discussion?
October 15th.
October 15th, Wednesday.
Wednesday, October 15th, Stacy.
Yeah, that's probably going to be a conflict for me because I have another board that I'm on that meets the third Wednesday of a month.
Could
But
you
that's okay.
can you do the 22nd?
Sarah and I can't do the 22nd.
Okay.
How about the 8th, Gail?
8th?
Yeah.
Is that going to be enough time to get the ARPA report done? Well, it doesn't have to be the 15th. We can do 16th too. If the 16th can work. 16th?
Thursday.
16 at 6?
Yep, good for me.
Okay, so
I'm not gonna be able to do that.
Bill,
I can't either. I'm traveling for work.
I'm traveling to a funeral in Washington or celebration of life. So.
What about the 23rd? The following Thursday? Is it just that Thursday or?
I can't do that.
No?
No. But you know, it's like there's not one good date. So
I know.
think
What
just-
about Tuesdays? Are
Stacy,
Tuesdays out for
Stacy.
everybody?
Stacy, you said you couldn't do the 15th because you have another meeting?
no, I can do the 15th. Marie can't do
I
it.
can't, but that's, I mean, if
Oh,
you've got
Marie,
a quorum, then just go
Marie,
with it.
what time is your meeting?
7.
Can we do it at 5, this meeting?
yeah, it's fine with me.
Yeah, that would work.
Marie will just double you
I'll
up,
just be busy that night, that's
maybe
all.
triple you up for the night.
Okay, so 5 p.m. on the 15th.
Yeah,
Okay, let's pencil that in. Marissa, if you can send out a group email to do that. I'm
Yeah.
a little confused about what's going on with Theo. he's on the board as it pertains to the planning department, but then I think that there's another person coming on board, but Theo is supposed to be on it until October 31st, so I'm a little confused about what's going on there.
I think my term will expire as well. So what happens? Are you able to put in for another term to the town council for their vote? Who makes that decision?
I think that's up for you and you're the liaison for the Commission on Disability.
Yes.
That's up for you and your other commission members to decide.
Okay.
You say my term on the Affordable Housing Trust is coming to an end. See if anybody else maybe wants to step in and give it a shot. If not, if you're happy to be here, say, no, I'm happy to keep serving. I've enjoyed my time, that kind of thing. But it would be up for
Okay.
you and your commission members to decide.
All right, I'll make sure
And
it's on our agenda.
I think,
for
Marie,
October.
too, that that board will hear from Sherry. So, because Sherry, she reached out to the Housing Authority to let us know that Sarah's term needed to be renewed, and we did that at a meeting, so
Okay,
I would reach out to Sherry, or have the chair reach out to Sherry.
Okay. All right, so we got the next meeting date, which is confirming at 5 o'clock on October 15th. And now I need a movement to adjourn.
So moved. 7:24.
7:24. Second?
second.
Okay, Marie, a second. All right, roll call vote. Bill Boudry,
Aye.
Stacy Constance,
Yes.
Sarah Fowler,
Yes.
Maureen Hickey.
Yes.
Harold is gone. Theo's not here. Marie,
Yes.
Gail Siebert, yes, and Charlie.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate your time.
Bye, Marissa. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. It was
Good
nice
night.
to
Good
meet
night.
you.
Okay,
Have a good
Bye.
night.
Good night.
bye.